Well, we finally have a confirmed report that one team has shown interest in trading for Zion Williamson and also another player. We're going to talk about that report and also give you an update on what's going on with Zion as they get ready for Detroit tonight inside this edition of Pelicans Digest. What's good with it, y'all? It's your people, Melz On The MIC, back once again inside Pelicans Digest. It's Wednesday, and the Pels are getting ready to face Detroit tonight in the Smoothie King Center, one of the top teams in the East. And we got some wild news that's been breaking out over the last 24 to 48 hours about Zion Williamson. And we're going to give you the latest updates on a confirmed report. Finally, a confirmed, not a speculative, a confirmed report that the Pelicans have been engaging in active talks to move Zion Williamson. But I think we could connect the timeline on this and trace it back to a few days ago. And we're going to get into that in a couple of minutes. Also got some breaking news involving Zion and the game tonight. But, of course, we got to start this video by letting you know that it's powered by our friends at Kalshi, the largest prediction platform in the United States. It's available in all 50 states, and you can trade on anything, sports, politics, news, whatever, on Kalshi. And make sure you go into the description, in our description, and get the link, and use the code for Digest NBA. Use code Digest NBA to get a $20 bonus when you trade $100 on Kalshi. Kalshi is available in all 50 states. And like I said, you can trade on just about anything. Player outcomes, player performances, playoff chances, and so much more. You can even get in on the action in tonight's game between Detroit and New Orleans. Of course, Detroit is heavily favored. That's to be expected. And the spread on this, I believe, is Detroit winning 5.5 points. So if you want to get in on that action, man, you need to get on over to Kalshi. Use the link in the description. And don't forget to use code DIGESTNBA. Code DIGESTNBA. Enter that so you can get your $20 bonus. And once again, thank our friends at Kalshi for sponsoring this video. And as we get into the big news that's going on here on Pelicans Digest today, the breaking news that went down this morning involves Zion Williamson. And we're going to get into the trade headlines and all that in a matter of minutes. But once again, Zion Williamson, after playing 20 straight games, one of the longest stretches of his career, he's back on the injury report for tonight's game. According to CBS Sports, Williamson was a late addition to the injury report this morning, presumably after waking up under the weather. If the Pelicans hold him out against Detroit, the team could lean more on Saddiq Bey, Micah Peavy, and Carlo McAvick. And I'm probably sure you might have gotten sick, hugging on your kids at that season ticket holder celebration last night. But, again, if he's going to be held out tonight, expect a big night for Saddiq Bey. More than likely, he's going to have to take up the slack and score more. We already talked about how you could see Herb Jones returning to the lineup tonight. He was back in practice yesterday, and according to James Borrego in the report we told you about yesterday, he could be returning to action tonight in this game. So you get one star back, and you might mess around and lose another one. But this is going to be a game time decision. We're a few hours away from the game at this point, so we will see if Zion Williamson will make it on the floor tonight. But the other story involving Zion today that has been going crazy on the internet is a confirmed report. All right, this is a confirmed report from the Chicago Sun-Times. They have reported that the Chicago Bulls have been active in trying to acquire Zion Williamson. All right, according to Joe Crowley, who reports for the Chicago Sun-Times, he has confirmed a report that the Bulls have had ongoing talks with the Pels about players such as forward Zion Williamson and center Yves Missi. And I want to rewind the tape on this because I don't think, because I already know what y'all going to say. But Joe Dumars said, before we get into that, let me rewind the tape on that. I think the reason why this story is coming out today is because it was confirmed, okay? But I believe they had those talks last week, before Joe Dumars and them made that announcement that Zion was off limits. Okay? That's what I believe, and that's why this story is coming out. It's not coming out from the Pelicans side. It's coming out from the Chicago side. Okay? And the other thing is, Chicago didn't let it be known what they're willing to give up. They have a bunch of expiring contracts that they are trying to get rid of. They also have a couple of draft picks that they are willing to get rid of to try to improve their team right now. And they think Zion and a rim protector like Yves Missi can help them. But again, my issue, and listen, depending on, clearly Chicago didn't offer up enough, or they were just gauging the price tag on Zion. I believe that's what was happening. They were gauging the price tag on either Zion or Yves Missi to see if something could be done there with those two. But I don't think this was something that happened over the last week. I think these talks may have happened a week before that. If that makes sense, before Joe Dumars made that announcement, because I think Joe Dumars made that announcement because the offers have been trash. Okay, I think that's what it is. I think the offers have been trash for Zion, and it's being reported that the Pelicans are looking for either expiring contracts, but mostly draft capital, according to most of these reports. But what continues to upset me is that y'all shopping Yves Missi. I mean, why are we shopping Yves Missi? I mean, I get it. He had a slow start, mainly due to the fact that James Borrego wanted to run this pace offense without any bigs and keep Queen in the 5 position. But as you've seen over the last few games, there have been some lineup modifications where Queen is now at the 4, where I believe he should have been at the start of the season, and you're bringing in Missi to bring in some rim protection. And I don't know how that's working out, but it kills me that they waited so late into the season to try to use this kind of lineup. It kills me that they waited this long, when I believe this should have been a lineup that you could have made work from the start, if that you were going to work through. But why are you giving? I feel like this is Dyson Daniels all over again with this Yves Missi situation and all this Yves Missi talk. I believe that. But in the case of Zion, I think that's why they said this, is because they had these talks with the Bulls, and maybe they had talks with another team. I don't know what the other team is. All I know is it is confirmed that the Bulls have made an inquiry into Zion's services. That has been confirmed from the Chicago side of things. So if they're interested in him, what are they supposed to give up? What am I looking to get up? Because they want to pair him with Giddey. I was looking at it like, okay, you're talking to the Bulls. See, you can get Giddey back. You know what I'm saying? See, you can get Giddey in return for Zion. But they're trying to pair Zion with Giddey. And that's fine. That's fine if that's what they want to do. But that means you're going to have to give them something else. And one of the things I knew that the Pelicans are going to be possibly looking into acquiring from the Bulls is some sort of three-point shooting in exchange for Zion, which at the end of the day, it's going to be hard to match that, because you're giving them a guy that can easily give you 20 to 30 a night, whether on or off the bench, in exchange for a role player that can shoot threes and maybe some draft capital. I don't feel like if Joe Dumars was to come to us with that, I don't think we would like that. As mad as we would like to see Zion, a lot of folks in the fan base want to see Zion get traded. You got to look at it from the perspective of what are we getting back in return for this? And it feels like every offer that's been thrown out there it just doesn't feel the same. It just doesn't feel good because, yeah, he's injury riddled, but the talent is still there. The talent is still there. And I think that's what's frustrating about this whole situation with Zion, as far as if you wanted to move him. The talent is still there, and you should be getting some sort of close to an all-star level return for that. Because he has all-star level numbers when you look at his stats. But it's hard but the injuries and everything else with it, it's hard to gauge what can you get back in return for this, for moving him. which is why I understand the position that Joe Dumars and them may be in right now as far as saying we got to keep him and let it play out. We're just in a tough and a bad position, man. We're just in a bad position. But I would like to know what y'all think, because I don't want to be on here long because, we almost close to game time. But I want to know what y'all think. Do you think the Bulls can make us an offer that we can't refuse to move Zion Williamson? And can we please get Yves Missi off the block? And I'm going to have to do a video this week and evaluate each player. I really do, that they are saying is available. We're going to have to dig into that a little bit further. But right now I want to know your thoughts on Zion and this confirmed report that the Bulls have been calling and asking about Zion Williamson. What are your thoughts on that? Also, what are your thoughts on the game tonight? Clap back with your thoughts in the comments. And thank you so much for tapping in with me, man, here on Pelicans Digest. This is where you get the best analysis, opinions, and more about the New Orleans Pelicans from a real fan and somebody that's at games and watches every game, all right? Enjoy the game tonight. Hopefully we can have some fun and get a W. But clap back with your thoughts in the comments right now.